And now, Bill Martinez.
We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look.
Well, back with you, America, 6 minutes after the top of the hour. I am Bill Martinez. We are live, and for more information on the show, you want to go to BillMartinezLive.com. It's all right there for your very eyes. And with us right now is Brandon Gallops. The last name may sound familiar. His father and I are dear friends. And Brandon, rather interesting that your father and I are so close, considering that we've never met face to face, but we've known each other for, I guess, in a chronological sense, for about a year, a little over a year, maybe 2 years. But it's like we're bonded at the hip for whatever reason. So, and you're his son, and I know that he's well proud of you. So, as a result, I have to be well proud of you. You're, of course, the co-host on Freedom Friday with your pop. And P.P. Simmons syndicated blogger, and very, very accomplished. I know he's very proud of you, and it's an honor to have you on the show. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Bill, and it's my honor. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. And same thing goes, man. My dad thinks the world of you and speaks very highly of you, so it's my honor to be with you today.
Well, good. And I will give your dad a good plug here on his new book, The Rabbi Who Found Messiah. And, of course, we're going to be talking to your dad about that in the next week or so, as soon as I can get him to clear his calendar. But, you've been doing some research recently on, this woman in Washington, D.C. that was shot, and people are bewildered by it, but yet, the government and the officials there were quick to laud the praises of, the police authority, and, and it seemed on the surface. I mean, when I first heard the bulletin that, shots were fired at the Capitol, this was headline stuff, and, you immediately think, well, what is this? We got a terrorist out of control. Somebody has gone absolutely rogue, just so frustrated with the government and its dysfunction that, they're letting their emotions out and letting them know that, this is unacceptable. But then, the story came in, and it seemed to be very well formed and fashioned. And there's so many questions still left unanswered regarding, this poor woman and her child that were in this car. And you've done extensive research, so tell us what you found.
Well, it is quite amazing, Bill. And it's funny how this happens over and over again when we see these major stories break. And what we want to call them the mainstream media, I guess, if that's still a relevant term. Mm-hmm. They get it wrong every time up front. And that's quite amazing. But, originally what we were told is that a vehicle, someone had tried to literally run their vehicle into the White House. And then we're told that shots were fired at the White House. That was the original report plastered all over Fox, CNN, all the regular names. Then the truth starts to come out. And what we find are some very interesting facts, none of which line up with those original reports. And the facts seem to be these. Number one, there were checkpoints, military-style checkpoints set up in and around D.C. that day. And this is just super interesting to me as a drill. And it's so funny how we oftentimes find out that when these crazy events happen, there's always a drill involved. So right. I don't know what that connection is, but there were, in fact, drills of military-style checkpoints in and around D.C. This lady, Miriam Terry, pulls up to one of these checkpoints, and then we find out she did have she had some mental problems, so she was disturbed, and, that came out. So, she gets a little freaked out when she pulls up to this checkpoint, and she attempts to back up and get away. What she did not do was ram into anybody or start shooting at anybody. Mm-hmm. She attempts to back up and get away, and she's immediately rushed by police as well as military, armed with AR-15 sidearms, and they're, I'm sure, screaming at her, stop, whatever they're saying. Then she really freaks out and she takes off. Well, they go in pursuit after her. And we're told that she rammed into barricades, when in fact that's not what happened. If you go on, you can easily search this on YouTube and find videos of, in fact, the D.C. police chasing her, running down the road 70 and 80 miles an hour, and they're the ones ramming into concrete barricades, like they don't see them, like they don't exist. Then they fire at this poor woman, numerous times. One time she avoids the gunfire, gets away, and then the second time they literally wind up executing this woman in front of her 18-year-old child in the seat next to her. Then we find out, we see that our Congress gives these, grand heroes, the police officers, literally a standing ovation. They're awarded medals. There's a ceremony held. And I made this comparison the other day. It was almost like an occultic-style celebration of this death. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And we find out that our Congress people, our leaders that we elect to send and protect us, these brave men and women to D.C., are literally hiding under their desks while all this is going on. An unbelievable account of what happened.
Right. Well, it tells you a lot of things in terms of what, our elected officials are thinking, and how plausible this could be. And, and the overreaction of people that, police officials, there they are, as you say, quote unquote, doing a training. Now you say, was an 18-month-old, not an 18-year-old? But I thought the baby was in the back
18-month-old, small child. Original reports were that it was a 3 to 4-year-old child, but I believe the most credible things that came out after the facts were verified is that it was in fact about an 18-month-old child.
And the child was in the front seat as well?
That appears to be the situation, but the child was unharmed.
Wow. By the grace of God. Yep. I mean, you got bullets being fired. I mean, we saw the footage of the police firing into this car. And I know her family, was very distraught about this, and that, there were admitted, mental situations here. But, you got to wonder what she saw from her mental capacity, right. Coming up to that checkpoint. And, right. If this is a training issue, and for officials to be, so weaponized at that point, that could be a bit intimidating, even in the most healthy of minds, I would think.
Absolutely, it could be. And, another interesting fact in this to me, Bill, is, this was, in fact, a black woman that was literally executed by these D.C. police. Where's Al Sharpton? Where's Jesse Jackson in this?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, where are they? These are the champions of race in our country that keep this country divided along the lines of race.
Right.
But nowhere to be found all of a sudden.
Well,
so
again,
I just, like I said, that's just a little sidebar, but I find that interesting. Where are they? How come they haven't come to this poor woman's defense?
Yeah, I mean, they really have left her. We saw a couple of interviews with the family, several days later. But this has been one of those stories that has kind of gone by the wayside. And these are the things that in terms of a social justice perspective that drives most Americans nuts.
It really does. And, we've had this conversation before. We had it on Freedom Friday. This country is a powder keg getting ready to explode. And it just seems like the leadership is doing nothing but to promote that. There's no push for peace. There's no push for, for people to come together and talk and figure out some of these problems. And let's come to some common ground and some understandings. It's almost as if we're being pushed to that point. Like they want it to erupt into violence. And
exactly.
I just don't get it. It's very frustrating sitting back from my point of view.
Well, I think you're pointing out something here that more and more Americans are beginning to realize, and that is this pervasive attitude that is, like a black cloud coming over this country that emanates from the ruling elite on down. I mean, to where you've got, police officials that are there to protect and serve, going overboard on this, and somehow it's rewarded. And that's the scary thing, Brandon, because what does that tell other police officials? It reinforces this kind of behavior, and, there needs to be a more objective consideration of what happened there in Washington, D.C. with this young girl, don't you think?
Absolutely, Bill. You're right on point with that.